What's going on, guys? I'm back with another ship building video. Today I'm going to be doing an update of the Ghost ship that I made last week. On that note, I'd like to thank everybody who really liked my design and gave me quite a bit of support, so I really appreciate that. It really helps motivate me to make more, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But let's get right into the video. So I made a few changes to the ship itself. I upgraded the reactor, the gav drive. The engines are still the same. I changed a bit of the structure as well, and I changed a few other things. And I completely finalized my weapon setup as well, so I'll be going through that as well. And then I'll give you guys a little tour of the ship at the very end, because I know that you guys would appreciate that and would like the changes that I made on the interior as well. Well, not huge changes, but slight changes anyway. So let's get right into it. So some of the few things that I changed right off the bat. Obviously, like I said, I changed the reactor and the gav drive. I swapped out the reactor for a 104DS mag and inertial reactor, which gives me a power generator of 39. The health and the repair rate doesn't really matter to me because the ship itself is pretty tanky and doesn't take that much damage. Like with the weapon setup as well, the ship tears through most enemies relatively easily, and I'm on the hardest difficulty. I'm on very hard, so it's pretty sound. In terms of the gav drive, I am now using a Aurora 13G gav drive because I was realizing that my jump range wasn't that high and it was beginning to bug me. So I replaced that and added this one in instead. These, like, obviously this one requires rank 4 ship design, piloting rank 3, and then the gav drive itself requires rank 2, so that's totally fine. Most of you should have rank 2 already for the gav drive, so that's be a nice upgrade. In total, my ship right now, with its current setup, has 80 mobility, which is very good. Its top speed is 140, which is still the same as before. My cargo is still 2420, and I've got decent shield as well, 1450. But I also have, so this is the base. These are all base numbers, okay? In total, my ship actually has 3049 cargo and 2320 shield. And that's factored into the my skill points. Same thing with the reactor. I do have an extra point in a skill that increases it. I do not remember the name. Let's quickly jump out. So as you can see here, I've got 60% increased shield capacity, so that's why that increase. I have rank 2 in cargo hold, so 20% increase. My top speed is also 10% increased. I do have the automated turret system, so I get a 10% increase with my auto turrets. But as you can see, I have no other skills in any other weapon system. So I'm decimating with just base skill damage. Weapon damage. And then I've got Starship Engineering for 10% increase in skill and ship repair. So that's not too bad. Other than that, there's not much else that affects the stats of the overall ship. And then I also have the Neutronics Fusion, which gives me an extra, what am I currently on? Rank 2, so I get 2 extra points in power. So that's why I have 40 as well. And you guys are probably also not reaching the same jump range as me of 28, so, or something, or 30. I don't remember exactly the light years. I'll have to check. 28, yeah, light year range. Jump range, sorry. So that's because I also have 15% in astrodynamics skill. So that's why the stats might not match completely to you guys when you guys build this from the get-go. But yeah, so those are my skills that I'm currently using, and I don't really see any point in putting any further skills in anything else. So, because the ship itself already does really well. And yeah. So yeah, I did replace the reactor, the Gav drive, and everything else the same. I replaced the fuel with some M30 Ulysses HE tanks, and that way I only have 200 fuel, but it's fine. I don't need it, honestly. If I need to stop by an extra system to get to my destination, then that's fine. It doesn't bother me as much. So it's up to you guys how you want to set this up. But it was exactly the same part as the other one, which I will show you in a moment when I go into the setting all this up. And yeah, the current weapons I'm currently using the Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors. I have 6 of them because of the power it generates. You can add up to 6 total cannons or guns. I'm still using the PBO auto neutron turrets. I've got 4 of those, as you can see here. And then I've got the Exterminator 95ME5 or V auto helion beams. I've got 3 of those, 2 at the bottom here. I'd put as much as I could underneath the ship that it doesn't, because I don't like it being super cluttered at the top. You can obviously make more adjustments and try to fit things more underneath, but honestly I think the way it is now is fine. But other than that, there isn't much other changes other than those upgrades. And now, as you can see, I'm maxed out in weapons, engine, shield, and I've got 40 reactor, 7 crew slots. That can increase, but right now it's fine. It's not like I need an entire, like, it's not like this is a battle cruiser. And then decent shield and weapons and strength and everything like that. So honestly, all in all, this is my best ship, and I use it all the time, and I can break through any like a dogfight or encounter. So yeah. So let's jump right into the changes I made and to the design itself, so that way you guys can see how I set it up with the new setup. And here we go. Alright, so here's a recreation of the ship design from the video, from last week's video, because obviously I've made changes, so I had to make a duplicate. So here it is. So back with the old what's it called, the reactor or engine here, fuel tank, sorry, fuel tank, and old reactor, and as well as the Gav drive. So, and then here are all the new parts that I've added since then. So these are the changes that I made due to the Gav drive and everything like that, and replacing the fuel with these M30 Ulysses HE3 tanks. And then I added a few extra parts just to make it more aesthetically accurate to the design. And yeah, and then you'll see a little neat thing, because currently in the ship, when you guys enter with this setup, is that there's a ladder here that goes into the living quarters. Then there's another ladder from here that goes down into this companion bay and then reach all the way up. So with the new setup, it removes this ladder and has all the ladders going from just the center of the ship here. So just one set of ladders all the way up straight through the middle, which I will show you guys in the tour. So let's move on with the actual setup of the ship here. So let's get rid of the bay and this companionway that's here, because we don't need those anymore. We're going to put this new one in here like this. Plus, I like this one a lot better. I think it fits a lot better with the ship design itself. And then I'm using a Nova Galactic Armory, because the Nova Galactic Armory I think is the only unique version of the armories out of all of them, because it also has the mannequins and stuff like that. I don't think there's any other brand that has the mannequins other than Nova Galactics. So that's the reason why I'm using that one. We're going to replace the reactor with the new one. So let's get rid of this one. Add that in. We can also get rid of the fuel tank, because we don't need that anymore. And then we can also replace the Gav drive with the new one. Like so. And boom. Ignore the engine here, this is not right. It's supposed to be this one. It's just that unfortunately where I currently am, I cannot add another one of these. Another one of the SAE engines. Otherwise, it's two of them on top of each other. This is just a replacement, but don't worry about it. So move that back here. Move the engine, that back there. Move this here. So what I did then to fill in this gap, now that the fuel tank is gone, is that I added another companionway right here. So that way there's another just room that enters in on the main deck, or on the bridge deck, sorry. And then I added another Deimos Hull A. That way it now matches the front one on both ends. And then I just kept the side caps because of the blue, you know, just gives it a little bit more color. And then, yeah, so these cowlings are, like I said, exactly the same ship as these fuel tanks. So, and plus the surface of the fuel tank here looks a lot more like a Star Wars thing, because on the Star Wars surface of ships has a little bit more like design and stuff like that, and grooves and stuff like that. So I think this one's a lot better to replace. So I get rid of these two and then put the fuel here and put it there. Whoop, where is it? There we go. And a fuel tank there. And then I added these two bumpers here at the on each end of the bay to make it more flush, to make it more smooth, and I think it also fits a lot better with the design as well. And yeah, and that's basically, in terms of structure and upgrades, that's all I basically added. Like I said, this is just a duplicate of the actual other ship, the actual design, so not everything is here. Another thing I won't be able to show you is the exterminator turrets Helion beams, because where I am doesn't sell it. But I can show you all the rest of it, the Helion, the obliterator auto projectors, and the auto turrets that I have here. So like so, I just set them up like that. You can change how you want to place these. You can place them however you want. It honestly does not matter. Rotate these like so. Put that underneath. Whoop. Oh, actually, no, that's fine. Like so, and then the last turret, and that's basically the whole upgrade, minus the extractor Helion beams, which would go one here, and then the two underneath these two cowlings here. And yeah, so that's basically the whole upgrade of the ship. I will now show you guys the inside, and I'll show you what I mean by the one column now, because it does make it a lot better having it like this. Alright, so now we're inside. So here are the mannequins, like I said, in the Nova Galactic version of the armory. As all of you know, I don't use, and I don't recommend you use either, the mannequins in the armor right now, because every time you change something within the ship, everything resets. So if you have any armor or anything that you have on here, if you change a part, that armor will disappear, and disappear forever. It does not save. And the mannequin inventory does not match the ship's cargo. It's not the same inventory at all. So whatever you place in here, if you edit something on the ship, if you change a part, whatever's on this mannequin will disappear. Same thing with all these boxes, all these weapon cases and everything like that, because every time you change your ship, these reset. It erases everything and you lose everything. I was unfortunate. I added my Mark 1 Constellation armor on one of these mannequins once, and I changed the ship and I lost it all. And I had to with console commands get it back, because it really pissed me off that I lost it, and I hadn't realized it till I was like very much later in the game. Okay, so here is the ladder, and this is the only ladder throughout the entire ship. It goes from the bottom all the way to the top, which is amazing, which I'm so glad it actually worked out well in terms of that. And so, and I make it, and it feels more realistic when if the ladder being set up this way, going just one straight through the middle. And this is literally straight through the middle. This is the middle of the ship, so it works out even better. So the first ladder leads then to a all-in-one berth that I have here in the center, which then leads to a Hope Tech control area, and which leads then to the window here that we have just below the cockpit. The reason why I use Hope Tech is I do like the dark feel of this design in the room, so it fits really well. Then in here is another, I think this is the 3x1 living quarters for Stroud, I think. And then here's the docker that leads outside on the side here, which fits really well as well because it's parallel to the ladder, so it's just straight up, and then goes straight to the cockpit, so it fits really well. Then on this side, I have the engineering bay, 3x1, Stroud as well. And then here I have another Stroud, storage room with a window that leads outside. Beyond that is the bridge deck, which houses the captain quarters and another storage room. Like so. So here's the storage room back here. And then this leads to the captain's quarters, which is another Hope Tech one. Though I might change it for the Taiyo captain's quarters, because it is exactly the same design. It's just that it's a bit lighter in terms of the wall color and everything like that. Excuse me, Vasco. Yeah, I don't know if this is another thing. I don't know if this will happen to you guys, but for some reason, Vasco gets stuck on the ship. Every time he enters, he just gets teleported straight to this point, and then he's stuck here, and he doesn't move. You can interact with him and everything like that, but it's kind of a pain sometimes. So after that, we then enter into the cockpit, which is one of my favorite cockpits ever. I really like this one. I really do like the design and the aesthetic and the lighting in here. It feels really cool. And then for the final room, we have the storage, another storage room right at the top here, which then leads just above it that shield reactor or shield generator, which is again right in the center of the ship. So again, I find this really convenient how the whole ship just has the one ladder going through the entire center of it. That way you don't have to run through your entire ship like a maze just trying to find it. And given the size of the ship, it fits perfectly, honestly. And if this ship was real, like if Starfield was real, I would totally commission to build this exact ship exactly the way it is. I really like it. This is my main ship. I use it for everything. So it has great cargo, great weapon strength, great defense. It's everything you'd need. And yeah, so that's basically it for the ship design. I really hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas to improve it. I honestly think that it's peaked. I don't see much more to do other than just use it, really. There's not much else to add, in my opinion. But if you guys have anything else, just leave me a comment below. Yeah. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any more comments or any ideas or suggestions, like I said, just leave it in the comments below and I'll respond, and maybe I'll make an update video in the future. Right now, with the current parts that we have, until Bethesda adds more different designs through DLC, hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't think I'll make any more improvements. Honestly, this is probably the best I can get it to be at the moment. There's obviously better engines and different things in certain areas of the ship, but for my playstyle, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need, and I don't need anything more than this. But again, everybody has their own playstyle and their own way of wanting to set up their own ship. So yeah, even in the weapons, you guys don't have to use the weapons I'm using. I'm just using these because they're strong and they dish out a lot of damage. If you guys like using rockets or ballistics, then you guys can swap them out. Use whatever you want. This is just my current setup. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.